Right now, while you are watching this video, a massive snow train is barreling straight toward the United States. Not one storm, not two storms, but a relentless chain of at least 3 serious winter storm systems set to slam the country within the next 7 days. And the question I need you to answer right now is this: which day will your area get hit? What time exactly does the snow start? And are you truly ready for what is coming? In the next 30 seconds, I am going to tell you something that most weather broadcasts are not telling you right now. This is not ordinary winter weather. This is a catastrophic atmospheric pattern shift that is about to redefine the rest of February and the first weeks of March. And there is one thing happening this week that is so unusual, so extreme, that I will reveal it at the 3-minute mark of this video. Something that even many professional meteorologists have not fully explained yet. But first, let me hit you with a number that stopped the entire nation in its tracks. 32.8 inches of snow. That is the total snowfall recorded in Providence, Rhode Island over just the past 2 days. That single number smashed the all-time snowfall record for Providence, a record that had stood since the legendary blizzard of 1978, a storm that an entire generation of New Englanders still talks about. The new record did not just beat the old one, it shattered it by nearly 9 full inches. Think about that. Nearly 9 inches more snow than the most infamous blizzard in Rhode Island history in nearly 50 years. But here is what should concern you even more. Winter is not finished. In fact, winter is about to reload. The storm that just devastated the Northeast, officially dubbed Winter Storm Hernando by meteorologists, is now going down in history as one of the most powerful nor'easters in nearly 30 years along the East Coast. At its peak, the storm deepened to a central pressure of 966 millibars, producing hurricane-force wind gusts approaching 100 miles per hour along coastal New England. Central Islip on Long Island recorded 31 inches of snow. The town of Babylon on Long Island recorded more than 29 inches. Central Park in New York City recorded nearly 20 inches just on Monday afternoon alone. Over 600,000 homes and businesses lost power at the height of the storm. Multiple states declared states of emergency. At least 2 people lost their lives, more than 6,500 flights were delayed, and over 3,300 flights were canceled across the country. 6 states declared states of emergency: New Jersey, New York, Connecticut, Massachusetts, Delaware, and Pennsylvania. New York City issued a full travel ban, closing all bridges, highways, and streets to traffic. The Massachusetts governor deployed 200 members of the National Guard and restricted travel in Bristol, Plymouth, and Barnstable counties. Boston mayor announced school closures for 2 consecutive days. For context, the storm is now officially ranked as the 9th biggest snowstorm in New York City history, going back in the record books all the way to 1869. I do not want you focused on what already happened, though. I want your full attention on what is coming next. Because what is heading toward the United States over the next 7 days may actually be more complicated and more dangerous in many ways than what we just experienced. And here is the reward I promised you in the first 30 seconds. Right now, we are seeing an atmospheric setup that is genuinely extraordinary. Along the West Coast, a powerful atmospheric river, essentially a river of moisture in the atmosphere stretching thousands of miles across the Pacific Ocean, is hammering Northern California and Western Oregon with heavy rain and is dumping massive amounts of snow at the higher elevations. At the same time, a strong high-pressure system is building over the Baja California region. And above all of this, the jet stream is creating a deep trough, a southward dip, over North Dakota and Western Canada. That trough is the critical piece of this puzzle. It is the factory that will keep generating Alberta Clippers, fast-moving compact storm systems born over the Canadian Rockies, and funneling them one after another across the Great Lakes and into the Northeast. In other words, the atmosphere is loading up to fire a continuous barrage of storms at the eastern half of this country. And I am going to tell you exactly where and exactly when each one of those storms will hit. Let me start with what is happening right now, today, Tuesday, February 24th, 2026. An Alberta Clipper is currently taking shape over the upper Midwest and parts of southern Canada. This is storm number 1 in the chain. It is compact, fast-moving, but it is already generating light to moderate snow in parts of Wisconsin and Michigan as we speak. And along the West Coast, that atmospheric river is bringing heavy rainfall to the northern California coastline and western Oregon, with significant snow accumulating at the higher mountain elevations above 3,000 feet. Here in the eastern United States, Arctic air is still pouring down from Canada, producing some of the coldest mornings this region has seen in weeks. Atlanta, Georgia recorded 29 degrees Fahrenheit this morning, that is negative 1.7 degrees Celsius. Charlotte, North Carolina is sitting right at 32 degrees Fahrenheit, exactly at the freezing mark. Jacksonville, Florida is at 38 degrees Fahrenheit, running nearly 20 degrees colder than average for this time of year. Now let me give you the detailed forecast city by city, region by region. I am going to take you through each storm system from today all the way through early March. Today, Tuesday, February 24th. The Alberta Clipper is sweeping through Wisconsin and Michigan. If you are in Green Bay, Wisconsin, expect 1 to 3 inches of snow beginning around 2 in the afternoon. Milwaukee will see light snow showers by this evening. Detroit, Michigan should see 1 to 2 inches of light to moderate snow before midnight tonight. If you are anywhere in the Upper Peninsula of Michigan, particularly around Marquette and Sault Ste. Marie, today is your highest impact day. Lake effect snow off Lake Superior could push totals to 3 to 6 inches this afternoon. The lake effect is what happens when frigid air flows over the relatively warmer open water of the Great Lakes, picks up moisture, and dumps it as heavy concentrated snow on the downwind shore. Temperatures across the Midwest today will be brutally cold. Chicago hits a high of just 28 degrees Fahrenheit. Indianapolis tops out at 26 degrees. Columbus, Ohio struggles to reach 25 degrees. For the Northeast today, the focus is not new snow, but rather the aftermath of the historic blizzard. Boston is digging out under what feels like a snow fortress. Streets remain dangerous. Providence is at 12 degrees Fahrenheit this morning. That is negative 11 degrees Celsius. The snow from the past 2 days is not going anywhere. With overnight lows dropping to single digits across much of New England, the massive snowpack is going to freeze into a thick, solid layer of ice. Every new inch of snow that falls on top of that frozen base will create extremely treacherous conditions on roads and sidewalks. Hartford, Connecticut currently has more than 20 inches of snow on the ground. New Haven will see overnight lows of 8 degrees Fahrenheit. Albany, New York is sitting at -2 to -4 degrees Fahrenheit in the early morning hours. Buffalo, New York is at 16 degrees. Syracuse is at 12 degrees Fahrenheit. Here is what I need you to hear very clearly if you are in the Northeast, and I'm going to repeat this because it is that important. The snow on the ground is not melting. With nighttime temperatures staying in the single digits and daytime highs barely breaking the mid-20s, the 2 to 3 feet of snow across much of New England and the New York metro area will remain frozen solid for at least the next 4 to 5 days. When new snow falls on top of frozen snowpack, the conditions become especially unpredictable and dangerous. If you are over 50 years old or live with elderly family members, please pay close attention to fall risk on ice, which is one of the leading causes of serious injury and death during winter storms. Now, let me walk you through the most important storm in this sequence, and this is the part I promised to reveal at the 3-minute mark. A major new storm system is developing out of that atmospheric river over the Pacific. An enormous column of moisture is being driven onshore from the ocean, crossing the Rocky Mountains and heading east. When that moisture collides with the Arctic air mass currently sitting over the eastern United States, the result is going to be a significant and complex storm system arriving Thursday, February 26th through Friday, February 27th. And here's the twist that most people are not talking about. This storm will not be a simple snowstorm. It is going to be a split personality storm. The northern half of the system will deliver heavy snow across the Midwest, Great Lakes, and Northeast. But the southern half of the same storm across the Tennessee Valley, Alabama, Mississippi, Georgia, and southeastern Tennessee will carry a threat of severe weather, including damaging winds and an isolated tornado risk. The Storm Prediction Center, the agency within NOAA responsible for monitoring tornado and severe weather threats, is already watching the Tennessee Valley and what is known as Dixie Alley for potential severe weather on Thursday. We are watching both a significant winter storm and the beginning of severe weather season happening simultaneously from the same storm system. That is how extreme and how unusual this week's atmospheric setup truly is. Let me now give you the full city-by-city breakdown for Thursday, February 26th and Friday, February 27th. Fargo, North Dakota. Storm begins around 6 in the morning Thursday. 2 to 4 inches of snow. Temperatures at -2 degrees Fahrenheit. Roads will be extremely dangerous during the morning commute. Minot, North Dakota. 2 to 4 inches of snow beginning early Thursday morning. Minneapolis, Minnesota. 3 to 5 inches of snow beginning around 8 in the morning. Thursday, peaking around midday and through the afternoon. High temperature Thursday will reach only 19 degrees Fahrenheit. This will be the worst travel day of the week for the Twin Cities metro. The evening commute Thursday will be particularly dangerous. St. Paul, Minnesota. 3 to 5 inches mirroring Minneapolis. Duluth, Minnesota. 3 to 6 inches Thursday, high of only 12 degrees Fahrenheit. Des Moines, Iowa. 2 to 4 inches of snow beginning Thursday afternoon, extending through the evening. Then a critical watch. Freezing rain is possible overnight Thursday into Friday morning. That thin glaze of ice is nearly invisible and among the most dangerous of all winter weather types. Iowa drivers, please use extreme caution Friday morning. Sioux Falls, South Dakota. 3 to 5 inches of snow beginning Thursday morning, high of only 17 degrees Fahrenheit. Omaha, Nebraska. 2 to 4 inches of snow beginning Thursday afternoon and evening. Then a dramatic warm-up Friday into the upper 40s and low 50s Fahrenheit. Kansas City, Missouri, and Kansas. On Thursday, a mixed bag of snow and rain, roughly 1 to 3 inches of snow on the north side and rain to the south. But here is what is absolutely stunning. By Saturday, Kansas City temperatures will surge to 65 to 70 degrees Fahrenheit. That is a temperature swing of nearly 50 degrees in less than 48 hours. That kind of rapid change creates real health risks, particularly for people with cardiovascular conditions or respiratory illness. The human body, especially in older adults, struggles to regulate when temperatures oscillate that violently. Wichita, Kansas, rain and light snow. Thursday, then warming dramatically to 65 to 70 degrees Friday. Strong and gusty winds will accompany the cold front Friday evening. Oklahoma City, Oklahoma, rain Thursday, then warming to 68 to 72 degrees Fahrenheit Friday. Gusty winds 40 to 50 miles per hour possible Friday with the passage of the cold front. Chicago, Illinois. 2 to 4 inches of snow beginning Thursday morning, peaking Thursday afternoon and early evening. This will likely be the worst travel day of the week for Chicago. High temperature Thursday, only 22 degrees Fahrenheit. Winds off Lake Michigan will push the wind chill to between 5 and 8 degrees Fahrenheit. Dress accordingly if you must be outside. Rockford, Illinois. 2 to 4 inches of snow Thursday. Peoria, Illinois. 1 to 3 inches of snow beginning Thursday afternoon. Springfield, Illinois. 1 to 2 inches of snow Thursday. Milwaukee, Wisconsin. 3 to 5 inches of snow Thursday morning through afternoon. Madison, Wisconsin. 3 to 5 inches of snow Thursday. Green Bay, Wisconsin. 3 to 5 inches of snow Thursday with additional lake effect possible. Indianapolis, Indiana. 2 to 4 inches of snow beginning around 9 in the morning Thursday and extending through the afternoon and early evening. High temperature Thursday, 26 degrees Fahrenheit. Fort Wayne, Indiana. 2 to 4 inches of snow, potentially up to 6 inches with lake effect enhancement. South Bend, Indiana. 3 to 5 inches with the potential to reach 7 inches due to lake effect off Lake Michigan. One of the highest impact locations in Indiana Thursday. Detroit, Michigan. 2 to 4 inches of snow Thursday. Ann Arbor, Michigan. 2 to 4 inches Thursday. Lansing, Michigan. 3 to 5 inches Thursday. Grand Rapids, Michigan, 4 to 6 inches Thursday, potentially up to 8 inches with strong lake effect off Lake Michigan. Kalamazoo, Michigan, 3 to 5 inches Thursday. Saginaw, Michigan, 2 to 4 inches Thursday. Flint, Michigan, 2 to 4 inches Thursday. Traverse City, Michigan, 5 to 8 inches Thursday with significant lake effect. Marquette, Michigan, 6 to 10 inches Thursday. Now let me shift to the Ohio Valley and the southern edge of this storm, where the situation gets more complex and dangerous in a completely different way. Cincinnati, Ohio. A tricky, mixed forecast Thursday. The northern parts of greater Cincinnati will see snow around 2 to 3 inches. The southern suburbs and areas across the Ohio River into Kentucky will see a wintry mix. High temperature Thursday 34 degrees Fahrenheit, just above freezing, which makes road conditions extremely unpredictable and hard to judge. Cleveland, Ohio, 2 to 4 inches of snow beginning Thursday morning. Dangerous morning commute. Toledo, Ohio, 1 to 3 inches with potential lake effect enhancement near Lake Erie pushing totals to 5 inches. Youngstown, Ohio, 3 to 5 inches of snow Thursday among the higher totals in Ohio due to lake effect off Lake Erie. Akron and Canton, Ohio, 2 to 3 inches of snow Thursday. Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, 1 to 3 inches of snow beginning early Thursday morning and tapering by early afternoon. High temperature 24 degrees Fahrenheit, Columbus, Ohio, 1 to 2 inches of snow Thursday morning, tapering before noon. Louisville, Kentucky, mixed rain and snow. Thursday, around 1 inch of snow on the north side with rain to the south. Lexington, Kentucky, rain and wintry mix Thursday. Nashville, Tennessee. This is the most critical severe weather watch location for Thursday. The Storm Prediction Center is monitoring the Nashville metro and all of Middle Tennessee for a risk of damaging winds and an isolated tornado threat Thursday afternoon and evening. If you are in the Nashville area, please have a safety plan in place for Thursday. Know where your safe room or interior ground floor location is. Monitor weather alerts hourly throughout Thursday. Tornado watches or tornado warnings could be issued at any time during Thursday afternoon or evening. Do not wait for the storm to start before you make your plan. Huntsville, Alabama. Similar severe weather threat to Nashville. Damaging winds and an isolated tornado are possible Thursday evening. Birmingham, Alabama. Heavy rain and gusty winds. Thursday with a smaller but still real severe weather threat compared to northern Alabama. Atlanta, Georgia. Heavy rain. Thursday and gusty winds potentially reaching 40 to 50 miles per hour. Some large trees could come down and scattered power outages are possible across the metro area. Chattanooga, Tennessee. Snow on the north side of the system, rain on the south, mixed conditions in between. Memphis, Tennessee. Heavy rain Thursday with strong winds. Jackson, Mississippi. Rain and strong winds Thursday evening. Biloxi and Gulfport, Mississippi. Moderate to heavy rain. New Orleans, Louisiana. Moderate rain and winds. Mobile, Alabama. Moderate to heavy rain. Pensacola, Florida. Rain Thursday. Montgomery, Alabama. Rain Thursday. Columbia, South Carolina. Moderate rain beginning Thursday afternoon. Charlotte, North Carolina. Wintry mix to the north, rain to the south. Approximately 1 to 2 inches of snow possible in northern Charlotte and the northern suburbs. Greensboro, North Carolina. 2 to 3 inches of snow beginning Thursday afternoon. Winston-Salem, North Carolina. 2 to 3 inches of snow. Raleigh, North Carolina. Wintry mix, less than 1 inch of snow. Now let me cover the Mid-Atlantic and Northeast for Thursday and Friday. Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. 2 to 4 inches of snow beginning Wednesday night and extending through Thursday morning. This will be the third measurable snowfall in Philadelphia in less than 2 weeks. Baltimore, Maryland. 1 to 3 inches of snow Wednesday night into Thursday morning. Washington, District of Columbia. 1 to 2 inches of snow. For any planned outdoor activities in the capital area this weekend, temperatures will improve significantly by Friday evening and Saturday. So Saturday outdoor plans look much more reasonable than Thursday. Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. 2 to 4 inches Thursday. Allentown, Pennsylvania. 3 to 5 inches Thursday. Reading, Pennsylvania. 2 to 4 inches Thursday. Scranton, Pennsylvania. 3 to 5 inches Thursday. Wilmington, Delaware. 2 to 3 inches Thursday. Atlantic City, New Jersey. 2 to 4 inches Thursday with gusty winds off the ocean. Trenton, New Jersey. 2 to 4 inches Thursday. Newark, New Jersey. 2 to 4 inches beginning Wednesday night. New York City. 2 to 4 inches beginning Wednesday night, with the bulk of accumulation falling Thursday morning across all 5 boroughs. Long Island, 3 to 5 inches with the potential for locally 6 inches on the eastern end of the island. White Plains, New York, 3 to 5 inches Thursday. Stamford, Connecticut, 3 to 5 inches Thursday. New Haven, Connecticut, 3 to 5 inches Thursday. Hartford, Connecticut, 3 to 5 inches Thursday. Springfield, Massachusetts, 3 to 5 inches Thursday. Worcester, Massachusetts, 4 to 6 inches Thursday. Boston, Massachusetts, 3 to 5 inches Thursday. This will be the second storm to hit Boston in less than 72 hours. The snow will fall on top of an already enormous snowpack, Providence, Rhode Island, 3 to 5 inches Thursday. Remember, there is already close to 3 feet of snow on the ground here from the historic blizzard. Portsmouth, New Hampshire, 4 to 6 inches Thursday. Manchester, New Hampshire, 4 to 6 inches Thursday. Concord, New Hampshire, 4 to 6 inches Thursday. Burlington, Vermont, 3 to 5 inches Thursday. Montpelier, Vermont, 4 to 6 inches Thursday. Portland, Maine, 4 to 7 inches Thursday. Bangor, Maine, 5 to 8 inches Thursday. Caribou, Maine, 6 to 10 inches Thursday. Do not go anywhere yet, because the next part of this video is about the third storm in this chain and the early March threat, which is the most alarming thing I have to tell you today. Before I get to that, I need to spend a moment on the temperature roller coaster that is going to whipsaw the country over the next 7 days, because what is happening here is genuinely stunning. Right now today, temperatures in Kansas are reaching 70 to nearly 80 degrees Fahrenheit. This is the last week of February. Records for February high temperatures are being approached in multiple Kansas cities. Wichita is heading towards 75 degrees. Hutchinson is near 76 degrees. Meanwhile, Providence, Rhode Island is at 12 degrees Fahrenheit this morning. Minneapolis is at 3 degrees Fahrenheit. The temperature difference between northern Minnesota and central Kansas right now is over 70 degrees Fahrenheit in the same country on the same day. In late February, here is how the temperature story plays out through the rest of this week and into early March. Thursday and Friday, the warm air retreats south and west while Arctic cold continues to dominate the northeast. The Great Plains will start their warm-up. Friday, February 27th, warm air surges aggressively northward as that southwest high pressure builds. Nebraska, Iowa, and Missouri will jump into the 50s and low 60s Fahrenheit. The Midwest will see temperatures running 15 to 25 degrees above average for late February. Saturday, February 28th, Texas temperatures could approach 90 degrees Fahrenheit. Dallas is forecast to hit 85 to 88 degrees. Houston is forecast at 85 to 87 degrees. San Antonio could reach 88 to 91 degrees. Austin is looking at 86 to 89 degrees. These are June temperatures occurring in February. The Gulf of Mexico is pumping abnormally warm and humid air northward at an extraordinary rate. Then the pattern flips again. Early in the first week of March, a new Arctic air mass builds and Arctic cold returns to the Midwest and Northeast with significant force. This creates the exact setup for the potentially major storm system in the first days of March. Now let me tell you about that first week of March threat, which is what the Climate Prediction Center is officially flagging. The Climate Prediction Center has formally noted a higher than normal probability of a significant winter storm affecting the Northeast during the first few days of March, specifically around March 2nd, 3rd, and 4th of 2026. They have placed the Northeast under a slight risk for heavy snowfall for that period. When the Climate Prediction Center officially flags a risk weeks in advance, that is not something to dismiss. Here is the atmospheric setup that is being modeled. Around February 28th, another Alberta Clipper will sweep through northern New England, bringing some light snowfall to that region. Behind it, a large Arctic high-pressure system builds across the Great Lakes. Then on the backside of that Arctic high, a complex moisture surge from the south could generate a significant winter storm starting from Iowa, working through Kentucky and central Illinois, then consolidating into a major storm system as it crosses the Ohio Valley and tracks toward the northeast. The current GFS model shows a wide area of snow, freezing rain, and sleet developing from Iowa through Kentucky and central Illinois, before merging into a potentially large and powerful winter storm over the Ohio Valley and northeast. The critical uncertainty right now is exactly how quickly this storm develops and how much moisture it can tap from the Gulf of Mexico. If it gets a strong connection to Gulf moisture, this could be another significant and possibly historic winter storm for the Northeast. March snowstorms, importantly, are often heavier and wetter than January or December snowstorms. Wet, heavy March snow is far more dangerous for rooftops, tree branches, and power lines than the lighter, fluffy snow of midwinter. It also makes shoveling dramatically more physically demanding and more dangerous for heart health. Now let me give you the complete city-by-city forecast for the entire country across all regions. The West Coast, Seattle, Washington. Moderate to heavy rain all week. Temperatures 42 to 50 degrees Fahrenheit. No snow in the city, but heavy accumulation at the mountain passes. Tacoma, Washington. Moderate rain, 42 to 49 degrees Fahrenheit. Spokane, Washington. Light snow, 1 to 3 inches. Wednesday and Thursday, temperatures 28 to 38 degrees Fahrenheit, Portland, Oregon. Heavy rain and gusty winds. 44 to 53 degrees Fahrenheit, Eugene, Oregon. Heavy rain, 43 to 52 degrees Fahrenheit, Medford, Oregon. Rain and snow mix at elevation, 40 to 48 degrees Fahrenheit, Boise, Idaho. Snow mix 1 to 3 inches, 28 to 38 degrees Fahrenheit, Twin Falls, Idaho. Light snow, 25 to 35 degrees Fahrenheit, San Francisco, California. Moderate rain, 49 to 55 degrees Fahrenheit, Oakland, California. Moderate rain, 49 to 56 degrees Fahrenheit, San Jose, California. Moderate rain, 50 to 58 degrees Fahrenheit, Sacramento, California. Moderate to heavy rain, 48 to 57 degrees Fahrenheit, Fresno, California. Moderate rain, 51 to 62 degrees Fahrenheit, Los Angeles, California. Partly cloudy and mild, 63 to 72 degrees Fahrenheit. Long Beach, California. Sunny and pleasant, 62 to 71 degrees Fahrenheit. San Diego, California. Beautiful sunshine, 62 to 72 degrees Fahrenheit. Santa Barbara, California. Sunny and warm, 63 to 73 degrees Fahrenheit. Bakersfield, California. Sunny and warm, 59 to 73 degrees Fahrenheit. Reno, Nevada. Light snow at higher elevations, 29 to 44 degrees Fahrenheit. Las Vegas, Nevada. Sunny and cool, 58 to 75 degrees Fahrenheit. Henderson, Nevada. Sunny, 56 to 73 degrees Fahrenheit. Salt Lake City, Utah. Moderate snow 2 to 4 inches Wednesday and Thursday, 28 to 39 degrees Fahrenheit. Mountain passes could see 1 to 2 feet. Provo, Utah. Light to moderate snow, 26 to 38 degrees Fahrenheit. Phoenix, Arizona. Beautiful sunshine and warm, 68 to 84 degrees Fahrenheit. Tucson, Arizona. Sunny and warm, 64 to 82 degrees Fahrenheit. Mesa, Arizona. Sunny, 67 to 82 degrees Fahrenheit. Scottsdale, Arizona. Sunny and very warm, 70 to 86 degrees Fahrenheit. Albuquerque, New Mexico. Cloudy and windy, light snow at higher elevations, 41 to 59 degrees Fahrenheit. Santa Fe, New Mexico. Light snow possible, 31 to 49 degrees Fahrenheit. El Paso, Texas. Sunny and warm, 53 to 76 degrees Fahrenheit. Denver, Colorado. Transitioning from snow early in the week to a warm-up, 26 to 59 degrees Fahrenheit range across the week. Wednesday could bring 1 to 3 inches of snow. Weekend will be quite pleasant. Colorado Springs, Colorado. 23 to 57 degrees Fahrenheit with light to moderate snow early week. Fort Collins, Colorado. 23 to 56 degrees Fahrenheit. Boulder, Colorado. 25 to 58 degrees Fahrenheit. Pueblo, Colorado. 27 to 61 degrees Fahrenheit. Billings, Montana. 4 to 15 degrees Fahrenheit with significant snow, 2 to 5 inches early week. Great Falls, Montana. 1 to 12 degrees Fahrenheit with snow. Missoula, Montana. 15 to 31 degrees Fahrenheit with moderate snow. The northern and central plains. Bismarck, North Dakota. -7 to 15 degrees Fahrenheit with moderate to heavy snow this week. Fargo, North Dakota. -2 to 17 degrees Fahrenheit with significant snowfall. Grand Forks, North Dakota. -8 to 12 degrees Fahrenheit. Aberdeen, South Dakota. -4 to 17 degrees Fahrenheit with snow. Rapid City, South Dakota. 15 to 39 degrees Fahrenheit with strong gusty winds. Sioux Falls, South Dakota. 3 to 29 degrees Fahrenheit with 2 to 4 inches of snow. Lincoln, Nebraska. 14 to 47 degrees Fahrenheit. North Platte, Nebraska. 12 to 49 degrees Fahrenheit. Cheyenne, Wyoming. 7 to 39 degrees Fahrenheit with strong winds and light snow. Casper, Wyoming. 10 to 36 degrees Fahrenheit. The upper Midwest and Great Lakes in more detail. Duluth, Minnesota. -9 to 12 degrees Fahrenheit. Significant 3 to 6 inch snowfall. Thursday. Rochester, Minnesota. 5 to 23 degrees Fahrenheit. Eau Claire, Wisconsin. 3 to 22 degrees Fahrenheit with 3 to 5 inches of snow Thursday. Wausau, Wisconsin. 2 to 19 degrees Fahrenheit. Appleton, Wisconsin. 7 to 22 degrees Fahrenheit. Oshkosh, Wisconsin. 6 to 21 degrees Fahrenheit. Racine, Wisconsin. 12 to 26 degrees Fahrenheit. Kenosha, Wisconsin. 11 to 26 degrees Fahrenheit. La Crosse, Wisconsin. 8 to 25 degrees Fahrenheit. Peoria, Illinois. 18 to 32 degrees Fahrenheit with snow Wednesday and Thursday. Aurora, Illinois, 17 to 29 degrees Fahrenheit with snow. Joliet, Illinois, 16 to 28 degrees Fahrenheit. Elgin, Illinois, 15 to 28 degrees Fahrenheit. Champaign-Urbana, Illinois, 19 to 34 degrees Fahrenheit. Bloomington, Illinois, 18 to 33 degrees Fahrenheit. Decatur, Illinois, 18 to 33 degrees Fahrenheit. Quad Cities area including Davenport, Iowa and Rock Island, Illinois, 16 to 35 degrees Fahrenheit with snow. Iowa City, Iowa, 14 to 33 degrees Fahrenheit. Cedar Rapids, Iowa, 13 to 31 degrees Fahrenheit with snow. Waterloo, Iowa, 12 to 29 degrees Fahrenheit. Dubuque, Iowa, 15 to 33 degrees Fahrenheit. Sioux City, Iowa, 11 to 32 degrees Fahrenheit. The Ohio Valley in more detail. Dayton, Ohio, 18 to 29 degrees Fahrenheit with snow Thursday. Youngstown, Ohio, 16 to 24 degrees Fahrenheit with 3 to 5 inches of snow. Canton, Ohio, 17 to 25 degrees Fahrenheit with snow. Steubenville, Ohio, 18 to 26 degrees Fahrenheit. Wheeling, West Virginia, 20 to 27 degrees Fahrenheit with snow. Huntington, West Virginia, 25 to 36 degrees Fahrenheit with wintry mix. Charleston, West Virginia, 23 to 35 degrees Fahrenheit with snow. Morgantown, West Virginia, 21 to 31 degrees Fahrenheit with snow. Parkersburg, West Virginia, 22 to 32 degrees Fahrenheit. Evansville, Indiana, 23 to 35 degrees Fahrenheit with wintry mix. Terre Haute, Indiana, 23 to 33 degrees Fahrenheit. Bloomington, Indiana, 23 to 33 degrees Fahrenheit. Gary, Indiana, 15 to 27 degrees Fahrenheit with lake effect snow. Elkhart, Indiana, 15 to 26 degrees Fahrenheit with 3 to 5 inches from lake effect. South Bend, Indiana, 3 to 5 inches, potentially 7 inches with lake effect. Muncie, Indiana, 19 to 30 degrees Fahrenheit, the southeast in detail. Roanoke, Virginia, 28 to 38 degrees Fahrenheit with wintry mix Thursday. Richmond, Virginia, 31 to 41 degrees Fahrenheit with light snow. Norfolk, Virginia, 34 to 45 degrees Fahrenheit with light snow. Virginia Beach, Virginia, 36 to 47 degrees Fahrenheit. Portsmouth, Virginia, 35 to 46 degrees Fahrenheit. Chesapeake, Virginia, 35 to 46 degrees Fahrenheit. Hampton, Virginia, 36 to 46 degrees Fahrenheit. Newport News, Virginia, 35 to 46 degrees Fahrenheit. Lynchburg, Virginia, 28 to 38 degrees Fahrenheit. Charlottesville, Virginia, 27 to 37 degrees Fahrenheit. Fredericksburg, Virginia, 30 to 42 degrees Fahrenheit. Knoxville, Tennessee, 32 to 43 degrees Fahrenheit with snow to rain mix. Johnson City, Tennessee, 30 to 42 degrees Fahrenheit with light snow. Clarksville, Tennessee, 36 to 48 degrees Fahrenheit. Murfreesboro, Tennessee, 36 to 49 degrees Fahrenheit. Jackson, Tennessee, 38 to 52 degrees Fahrenheit. Greenville, South Carolina, 35 to 47 degrees Fahrenheit. Spartanburg, South Carolina, 33 to 45 degrees Fahrenheit. Florence, South Carolina, 42 to 56 degrees Fahrenheit. Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, 45 to 58 degrees Fahrenheit. Augusta, Georgia, 42 to 56 degrees Fahrenheit. Savannah, Georgia, 48 to 61 degrees Fahrenheit. Macon, Georgia, 43 to 57 degrees Fahrenheit. Columbus, Georgia, 46 to 62 degrees Fahrenheit. Albany, Georgia, 48 to 63 degrees Fahrenheit. Gainesville, Florida, 53 to 67 degrees Fahrenheit. Jacksonville, Florida, 38 to 57 degrees Fahrenheit today, then warming nicely to 65 to 71 degrees by the weekend. Orlando, Florida, 48 to 68 degrees Fahrenheit. Tampa, Florida, 55 to 75 degrees Fahrenheit. St. Petersburg, Florida, 56 to 76 degrees Fahrenheit. Miami, Florida, 62 to 77 degrees Fahrenheit. Fort Lauderdale, Florida, 61 to 76 degrees Fahrenheit. West Palm Beach, Florida, 60 to 76 degrees Fahrenheit. Fort Myers, Florida, 67 to 81 degrees Fahrenheit. Naples, Florida, 68 to 82 degrees Fahrenheit. Tallahassee, Florida, 39 to 58 degrees Fahrenheit. Pensacola, Florida, 42 to 59 degrees Fahrenheit. Panama City, Florida, 44 to 61 degrees Fahrenheit. The Gulf Coast and South Central region, Baton Rouge, Louisiana, 41 to 61 degrees Fahrenheit. Lafayette, Louisiana, 42 to 63 degrees Fahrenheit. Shreveport, Louisiana, 45 to 66 degrees Fahrenheit. Lake Charles, Louisiana, 46 to 68 degrees Fahrenheit. Corpus Christi, Texas, 58 to 79 degrees Fahrenheit. Laredo, Texas, 62 to 88 degrees Fahrenheit. McAllen, Texas, 65 to 89 degrees Fahrenheit. Brownsville, Texas, 68 to 81 degrees Fahrenheit. Lubbock, Texas, 36 to 65 degrees Fahrenheit with strong gusty winds. Amarillo, Texas, 31 to 58 degrees Fahrenheit. Abilene, Texas, 49 to 79 degrees Fahrenheit. Midland, Texas, 49 to 78 degrees Fahrenheit. Fort Worth, Texas, 52 to 87 degrees Fahrenheit, peaking Saturday. Near record warmth for February. Little Rock, Arkansas, 39 to 57 degrees Fahrenheit. Fort Smith, Arkansas, 38 to 55 degrees Fahrenheit. Fayetteville, Arkansas, 34 to 53 degrees Fahrenheit. Jonesboro, Arkansas, 40 to 59 degrees Fahrenheit. Texarkana, 44 to 68 degrees Fahrenheit. Springfield, Missouri, 31 to 48 degrees Fahrenheit with snow Wednesday and Thursday. Joplin, Missouri, 31 to 49 degrees Fahrenheit. Columbia, Missouri, 28 to 45 degrees Fahrenheit with snow. St. Joseph, Missouri, 19 to 41 degrees Fahrenheit with snow. Jefferson City, Missouri, 26 to 43 degrees Fahrenheit with snow. Cape Girardeau, Missouri, 29 to 47 degrees Fahrenheit. The Central and Southern Great Plains. Topeka, Kansas, 16 to 62 degrees Fahrenheit with an enormous temperature swing across the week. Manhattan, Kansas, 14 to 63 degrees Fahrenheit. Lawrence, Kansas, 16 to 62 degrees Fahrenheit. Salina, Kansas, 13 to 64 degrees Fahrenheit. Hutchinson, Kansas, 12 to 65 degrees Fahrenheit. Garden City, Kansas, 11 to 59 degrees Fahrenheit. Enid, Oklahoma, 27 to 72 degrees Fahrenheit across the week. Lawton, Oklahoma, 33 to 75 degrees Fahrenheit. Tulsa, Oklahoma, 32 to 71 degrees Fahrenheit. Norman, Oklahoma, 32 to 73 degrees Fahrenheit. Ponca City, Oklahoma, 26 to 69 degrees Fahrenheit. The Mid-Atlantic in more detail. Cherry Hill, New Jersey, 25 to 45 degrees Fahrenheit with snow. Paterson, New Jersey, 20 to 35 degrees Fahrenheit. Elizabeth, New Jersey, 21 to 36 degrees Fahrenheit. Jersey City, New Jersey, 22 to 37 degrees Fahrenheit. Hackensack, New Jersey, 20 to 36 degrees Fahrenheit. Edison, New Jersey, 22 to 39 degrees Fahrenheit. Toms River, New Jersey, 28 to 42 degrees Fahrenheit. Cape May, New Jersey, 30 to 43 degrees Fahrenheit. Nassau County, Long Island, 21 to 38 degrees Fahrenheit. Suffolk County, Long Island, 19 to 36 degrees Fahrenheit. Montauk, Long Island, 20 to 37 degrees Fahrenheit. Poughkeepsie, New York, 16 to 31 degrees Fahrenheit. Binghamton, New York, 16 to 29 degrees Fahrenheit with significant snow. Elmira, New York, 18 to 31 degrees Fahrenheit. Ithaca, New York, 15 to 29 degrees Fahrenheit. Watertown, New York, 12 to 27 degrees Fahrenheit with significant lake effect snow. Plattsburgh, New York, 8 to 25 degrees Fahrenheit. Utica, New York, 12 to 26 degrees Fahrenheit. Glens Falls, New York, 14 to 28 degrees Fahrenheit. Saratoga Springs, New York, 14 to 29 degrees Fahrenheit. Lowell, Massachusetts, 16 to 31 degrees Fahrenheit with snow Thursday. Cambridge, Massachusetts, 16 to 31 degrees Fahrenheit. Quincy, Massachusetts, 17 to 32 degrees Fahrenheit. Plymouth, Massachusetts, 14 to 29 degrees Fahrenheit. You will recall that Plymouth was among the hardest hit in the historic blizzard with nearly 30 inches of snow. Conditions here remain extraordinarily dangerous. Brockton, Massachusetts, 16 to 31 degrees Fahrenheit. Taunton, Massachusetts, 17 to 32 degrees Fahrenheit. New Bedford, Massachusetts, 18 to 33 degrees Fahrenheit. Fall River, Massachusetts, 18 to 33 degrees Fahrenheit. Warwick, Rhode Island, 13 to 27 degrees Fahrenheit. This is the community that recorded 38 inches in the blizzard and broke the all-time record for Rhode Island. Pawtucket, Rhode Island, 13 to 28 degrees Fahrenheit. Cranston, Rhode Island, 12 to 27 degrees Fahrenheit. Woonsocket, Rhode Island, 11 to 26 degrees Fahrenheit. New London, Connecticut, 20 to 34 degrees Fahrenheit. Bridgeport, Connecticut, 22 to 36 degrees Fahrenheit. Waterbury, Connecticut, 18 to 33 degrees Fahrenheit. Danbury, Connecticut, 18 to 33 degrees Fahrenheit. Nashua, New Hampshire, 13 to 28 degrees Fahrenheit. Dover, New Hampshire, 14 to 29 degrees Fahrenheit. Keene, New Hampshire, 10 to 25 degrees Fahrenheit. Lewiston and Auburn, Maine, 12 to 27 degrees Fahrenheit. Augusta, Maine, 10 to 25 degrees Fahrenheit. Bath, Maine, 12 to 27 degrees Fahrenheit. Rockland, Maine, 10 to 25 degrees Fahrenheit. Presque Isle, Maine, -9 to 10 degrees Fahrenheit with significant snowfall. Bar Harbor, Maine, 6 to 19 degrees Fahrenheit. Brattleboro, Vermont, 10 to 27 degrees Fahrenheit. Rutland, Vermont, 8 to 24 degrees Fahrenheit. St. Johnsbury, Vermont, 6 to 21 degrees Fahrenheit. Newport, Vermont, 3 to 18 degrees Fahrenheit. Now, I want to stop and speak directly to you for a moment because there is something I believe you genuinely need to hear. This winter season, the winter of 2025 to 2026, is going to be remembered for a long time. Since early January, the United States has endured some of the most violent winter weather in more than a decade. The historic late January storm that crossed 20 states from New Mexico to Maine knocked out power to more than 1 million homes and businesses at its peak. Wind chills across the Midwest plunged to -30 and -40 degrees Fahrenheit, lethally cold in a matter of minutes for exposed skin. That storm alone caused catastrophic damage to the power grid, burst frozen water pipes in thousands of homes, and forced mass evacuations of elderly residents across Tennessee, Mississippi, and Louisiana. Power outages in Tennessee and Mississippi from that storm stretched for days. 800,000 customers remained without electricity by Monday, January 26th. Then came the devastating ice storm that gripped Mississippi and Tennessee at the same time, leaving communities in the dark for nearly a week in some cases. Then came Winter Storm Hernando just this past weekend, the blizzard that dropped 2 to 3 feet of snow on the Northeast Corridor, breaking snowfall records in Providence, New York, and dozens of other cities, killing at least 2 people, stranding millions at home, and shutting down one of the most densely populated regions of the entire country. And now, 3 more storm systems are forming up and heading our way. The infrastructure across the Northeast is under extraordinary stress right now. Power lines are weighed down with snow and ice. Water mains are under pressure from frozen ground. Roads are layered with packed snow and ice beneath any fresh snowfall. Storm drain systems are plugged with debris. This means that each new storm that arrives will cause damage and disruption at a level significantly higher than it would during a normal winter, because the system is already pushed close to its limits. Here is what I am asking you to do right now, and I mean right now, not after the next storm is already here. Make sure you have at least 72 hours worth of food, water, and medications on hand. 1 gallon of water per person per day is the standard recommendation. If you rely on prescription medications, call your pharmacy today and ask whether you can fill an early refill to have extra on hand. If you have a generator, test it now and make sure you have fuel for it. Keep your vehicle's gas tank above half full at all times this week. Charge all of your battery-powered devices tonight. Make sure you know where your flashlights are. If you live alone or have elderly neighbors or family members, please check in on them every day this week. And right now, I want to ask you to do one very simple thing that will help us help you better. Drop a comment below this video telling us your city, your county, or your state. We read every single comment. In our next update video, we are going to go through viewer locations and give targeted, hyper-local forecasts based on the most current National Weather Service data available. You will not have to search for your local forecast. We will bring it directly to you. Now let me bring this all together with the most important things I want you to carry away from this video today. Number 1, 3 winter storm systems are incoming this week. The first, a small Alberta Clipper, is affecting the upper Midwest and Great Lakes right now today. The second, a larger and more complex system, will bring significant snow to the Midwest, Great Lakes, and Northeast on Thursday and Friday, while simultaneously threatening severe weather in the Tennessee Valley and Dixie Alley. The third, a potential coastal storm, will take aim at the Northeast this weekend. Number 2. Early March brings a potentially major storm risk. The Climate Prediction Center has formally issued a slight risk for heavy snowfall across the Northeast for around March 2nd through 4th, 2026. Do not lose sight of this date. Number 3. The temperature extremes this week are dangerous and extreme. Texas approaching 90 degrees Fahrenheit while New England is at single digits. These violent swings create severe weather risks and real human health hazards. Number 4. Tornado season is beginning. March through June is the most active period for tornadoes and severe weather across the United States. The unusually warm temperatures building in the south combined with the lingering Arctic cold in the north is creating a more explosive atmospheric contrast than normal for this time of year. Be mentally ready to shift from blizzard awareness to severe weather awareness within days. Number 5. The Northeast infrastructure is stretched to its limits. If you live anywhere from Virginia to Maine, please treat every storm warning this week with the highest level of seriousness. There is no margin for error right now. And now, let me tell you what you can expect in our next video, because what is developing in the atmosphere for the first 2 weeks of March is something that every person in this country should be watching. We are tracking a potentially explosive spring storm setup that could produce significant tornadoes, damaging hail, and destructive straight-line winds across Tornado Alley and potentially as far east as the Tennessee Valley during the first weeks of March. We are also tracking the possible major snowstorm around March 2nd to 4th that I mentioned earlier, and which we will have significantly more detail on in the next 24 to 48 hours as the models converge. Additionally, we are watching an unusual late-season Arctic blast that some extended-range models are flagging for the middle of March, which could bring another round of dangerously cold temperatures and potentially late-season snow to the Northeast and Midwest. If any of those topics affect your city, your family, or your plans, you will not want to miss the next video. Stay with us. One final thought before I let you go. There is something almost hard to believe about what we are witnessing this winter. Just a few decades ago, a winter season with this level of back-to-back storm activity across so many different regions of the country simultaneously would have been an extreme rarity. The speed at which these systems are forming, tracking, and delivering impacts is being closely studied by the National Weather Service and research institutions across the country. Whatever the reasons, the pattern we are living through right now is exceptional, and it demands exceptional preparation and attention from every American family in every region from the Pacific Northwest to the Florida Panhandle, from the Northern Plains to the Gulf Coast. Stay informed, stay prepared. And please share this video with anyone you know who might be in the path of these storms. The best protection against severe weather is always advanced knowledge, and that is exactly what we are here to give you. We will see you in the next video where the storm story for early March continues, and it is a story you are going to want to hear. But wait, before you leave, there are several more things I need to cover, because this video would not be complete without talking about the outdoor events across the country that are being impacted this week. The full picture of the natural disaster toll this winter has already taken on the United States, and one more thing about the atmospheric science behind what we are seeing that I think you will find genuinely fascinating. Let me start with outdoor events. Across America, February and early March are packed with major outdoor festivals, races, parades, and sporting events. If you have tickets or plans for any outdoor activity this week or next weekend, here is what you need to know. For anyone in the Northeast who has any kind of outdoor event planned this Thursday or Friday, the answer is simple. Have a backup plan. Snow, cold, and wind are all going to be factors. The Boston Marathon Training Series, which typically has organized group runs across Greater Boston in late February, will be running on snow-covered paths and in temperatures that feel like the single digits with the wind chill. Dress in multiple layers and limit your time outdoors to what is absolutely necessary. For college winter sports across New England, the Midwest, and the Great Lakes, this week is going to test athletic directors, coaches, and transportation departments. Any team traveling by bus or van across the affected regions on Thursday should closely coordinate with local transportation officials before departure. Winter weather emergencies can develop very quickly along the highways of New York, Pennsylvania, and Ohio. For any outdoor agricultural work or livestock management operations across the Midwest, the message from the National Weather Service is clear. Get your animals and your equipment secured before Thursday morning. This week's storm will create rapid snow accumulation and reduced visibility conditions that can be dangerous for farm workers and potentially fatal for livestock if proper shelter is not in place. For anyone in Texas planning outdoor activities this weekend, particularly in the Dallas, Houston, San Antonio, and Austin metros, you are actually looking at weather that is going to feel more like late May or early June. Temperatures pushing into the upper 80s and approaching 90 degrees Fahrenheit with high humidity rolling in off the Gulf of Mexico. If you are doing anything physically demanding outside this Saturday in Texas, treat it like summer. Hydrate heavily, wear sunscreen, and take breaks in the shade or air conditioning. For any outdoor events scheduled in the Tennessee Valley this Thursday, including outdoor concerts, high school sports, community festivals, or any gatherings that will put people outdoors in open fields, I strongly recommend checking with local emergency management authorities and monitoring the Storm Prediction Center's products throughout Wednesday evening and Thursday morning. The severe weather threat in Tennessee, northern Alabama, and northern Georgia on Thursday is not a certainty, but it is a real enough possibility that outdoor events with crowds should have evacuation and shelter plans firmly in place before Thursday arrives. Now, let me give you the full picture of what this winter has cost the United States in terms of natural disasters, because the context is essential. The winter of 2025 to 2026 opened aggressively. In November of 2025, a significant early-season winter storm dumped 9 to 12 inches of snow along the coastlines of Wisconsin, Illinois, Indiana, and Michigan at snowfall rates of 2 to 3 inches per hour. That storm was a preview of what was to come. In late December, 2 back-to-back storms disrupted holiday travel on a massive scale, canceling tens of thousands of flights and stranding travelers at airports across the Midwest and Northeast. In January 2026, the season truly showed its teeth. A Category 2 rated winter storm in mid-January brought some of the largest snowfall accumulations to the Mid-Atlantic and Interstate 95 corridor in several years. Then, in late January, the massive winter storm that swept across 20 states became the deadliest winter storm the country had seen since the devastating Texas power crisis of 2021. Over 1 million customers lost power at peak. Extreme cold with wind chills of -20 to -40 degrees Fahrenheit followed in the storm as wake across the plains, Midwest, and Northeast. Records for cold temperatures were broken as far south as Texas and the lower Mississippi Valley. Power outages in Tennessee, Mississippi, and Louisiana left hundreds of thousands of families in the dark for days, with the most vulnerable residents, including elderly individuals living alone and families with infants, facing dangerous conditions inside their own homes. At the end of January, a bomb cyclone, which is a storm that drops in pressure with extraordinary speed, brought the heaviest snowfall to the Carolinas in nearly 25 years. Then, in the second week of February, a crippling ice storm hit Tennessee and Mississippi with devastating effect. Roads became impassable sheets of ice. Power lines snapped under the weight of ice accumulation. Trees collapsed onto homes, cars, and streets. In some communities, residents went without electricity for 5 to 7 days in temperatures that remained below freezing the entire time. Hundreds of thousands of people were affected. The economic cost to those states continues to mount as communities work through the recovery. And then came Winter Storm Hernando this past weekend, the event that we covered at the top of this video, which set all-time snowfall records in Providence and ranked among the most powerful nor'easters in 3 decades. The cumulative toll on the nation's infrastructure from this relentless series of storms is extraordinary. Transportation networks have been repeatedly shut down and damaged. Salt reserves used for road treatment are running low in several states. Emergency response budgets have been significantly depleted. And as I mentioned earlier, the physical condition of the infrastructure, from power lines to road surfaces to water mains, is under enormous strain in ways that make every new storm more dangerous and harder to recover from than the one before. Here is something that I think is worth reflecting on for just a moment. The winter of 2025 to 2026 has been characterized by enormous swings and contrasts. Record cold and record warmth, sometimes just days apart and sometimes simultaneously occurring in different parts of the same country. The jet stream has been deeply amplified this winter, meaning it has been dipping very far south and then surging very far north in patterns that are more extreme than what we typically observe. When the jet stream amplifies like this, you get the kinds of violent temperature swings we have been experiencing, with the frigid air bottled up in the troughs, the warm air surging in the ridges, and the storm track concentrated along the boundary between those two air masses. This pattern has historically been associated with some of the most memorable and impactful winter seasons in American history. The winter of 1977 to 1978, for example, produced blizzards and record cold across much of the eastern United States and is still talked about by people who lived through it. The winter of 1995 to 1996 produced a series of devastating nor'easters along the East Coast. The winter of 2010 to 2011 was similarly brutal with back-to-back storms. What we are experiencing now belongs in that conversation, and based on everything the models are currently showing, the pattern is not going to break down quickly. Now, one more topic I want to address before we close out this full forecast, and that is the flood risk that is building across many river basins in the Northeast and Midwest, because this is a threat that is largely invisible right now but will become very serious within the next 4 to 6 weeks. Right now, the snowpack across the Northeast is enormous by any historical measure. The Connecticut River Basin, the Merrimack River Basin, the Hudson River Valley, the Susquehanna River, and dozens of smaller rivers and streams across New England, New York, Pennsylvania, and New Jersey are sitting on top of a deeply frozen landscape with massive amounts of stored water in the form of snow. When temperatures rise in March and April, as they inevitably will, all of that snow is going to melt. If the warming is gradual, the melt will be relatively controlled and the rivers will rise slowly and predictably. But if we get a warm rain event on top of the snowpack, the combination of melting snow and heavy rainfall can produce extremely rapid and dangerous river flooding. The spring flood of 2023 in the Northeast was partly caused by exactly this scenario. Given how much more snow is on the ground right now compared to even last year, the spring flood risk for 2026 is already being closely monitored by the National Weather Service's River Forecast Centers. If you live near a river or stream in New England, New York, Pennsylvania, or the Ohio Valley, I strongly encourage you to start paying attention to flood watch and flood warning products from the National Weather Service well before the spring warm-up arrives. Getting your important documents, irreplaceable items, and valuables off the ground floor in flood-prone areas before the snow melts is good preparation, not an overreaction. Now, I want to address something specific for the over 50 crowd, because the demographics of who watches this kind of forecast content and the demographics of who is most vulnerable to winter weather overlap significantly. If you are over 65, or if you have a heart condition, high blood pressure, or chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, this winter has put you at elevated risk in ways that are important to understand. Snow shoveling, even a small amount of snow, places sudden and intense demand on the cardiovascular system. The combination of physical exertion, cold air, which causes blood vessels to constrict, and the body's natural adrenaline response to the cold creates conditions that dramatically increase the risk of heart attack. Every year in the United States, thousands of people, the majority of them men over 50, suffer serious cardiac events while shoveling snow. The snow this season has been particularly heavy and wet in many areas, which means it weighs significantly more per shovel load than typical dry, powdery snow. If you must shovel, take breaks every few minutes. Shovel small amounts at a time. Push snow rather than lifting when possible. Drink warm liquids before and during. And if you feel any chest tightness, jaw pain, arm pain, or unusual shortness of breath, stop immediately and call 911. Please. The snow will still be there tomorrow. You need to be there too. If you have neighbors who are elderly or live alone, knock on their door this week. Ask if they need anything. Offer to help shovel or bring groceries. Community is one of the most powerful emergency preparedness tools we have, and it costs nothing. All right, let me bring everything together one final time with the complete storm timeline summary that you can use as a reference. Right now through tonight, Tuesday, February 24th, Alberta Clipper affecting Upper Michigan, Wisconsin, and Great Lakes. 1 to 6 inches of snow across affected areas, highest amounts in Upper Michigan. Wednesday, February 25th, storm system spread southeast. 1 to 3 inches of snow for most of Ohio Valley and Northeast. 3 to 6 inches possible near Lake Erie and Lake Ontario. Light snow across New England. Thursday, February 26th and Friday, February 27th. Major storm system 2 impacts Midwest Ohio Valley and Northeast with 2 to 6 inches of snow across most areas, locally higher with lake effect. Simultaneously, severe weather threat including damaging winds and isolated tornadoes in Tennessee Valley, northern Alabama, and northern Georgia. Unusual spring-like warmth in Texas and southern plains pushing toward 85 to 90 degrees Fahrenheit. Saturday, February 28th and Sunday, March 1st. Potential coastal storm for the Northeast bringing 2 to 5 inches of snow across most areas with locally higher amounts possible. Uncertainty still significant on this system. Tuesday, March 2nd through Thursday, March 4th. Climate Prediction Center officially flagging elevated risk of significant winter storm for the Northeast. Models suggesting snow, freezing rain, and sleet from Iowa through Kentucky and central Illinois, evolving into a major storm over the Ohio Valley and Northeast. Details remain uncertain, but the risk is real. Mid-March onward, pattern becomes less certain, but the potential for another Arctic outbreak and additional late-season winter storms remains on the table. Simultaneously, tornado season ramps up across the central and southern plains, Tennessee Valley, and Dixie Alley. That is your complete 7-day and early March outlook. Stay prepared, stay informed. Leave your city or state in the comments below so we can bring you targeted updates in our next video. And do not miss what we have coming on the early March storm threat and the start of severe weather season. That video will be up as soon as we have more clarity on those systems. And based on how quickly this pattern is evolving, that could be very soon indeed. Thank you for spending this time with us today. Take care of yourselves and each other out there. And remember, the single most powerful thing you can do when severe weather threatens is to be informed before it arrives. You now have that information. Use it, share it with your family, and we will be back with the next update very soon because this winter is far from finished and the most important storm forecasts of the season may still be ahead of us. One last thing. The National Weather Service operates a free alert service that sends you text messages or emails whenever a weather watch, warning, or advisory is issued for your specific county. If you are not already signed up for those alerts, go to weather.gov right now and find out how to get them for your area. In a fast-moving storm situation, those alerts can give you critical minutes of advance warning that make the difference between being caught off guard and being prepared. It is completely free. It takes about 2 minutes to set up. And given everything this winter has already thrown at us, there is simply no good reason not to have it. Stay safe out there. This storm train is not done yet.